WrestleManiacs, Maniacs. This is the podcast. It's called WrestleManiacs. Adam, Donna, Indy, and Josh. Then now together forever and son. WrestleManiacs. This is the podcast. It's called WrestleManiacs. WWE, AEW, TNA, JPW. WrestleManiacs, welcome again. Good morning, good evening, wherever you are on the West Coast, East Coast, Central Time, or across the world. Well, evidently, we have another social media draft. So the draft was so nice, they decided to do it twice. So we got a couple more picks that I wanted to talk about. Again, as I mentioned earlier in our review, had we had any additional picks, we would go live and talk about them, kind of give some opinions on the draft overall. And we've got a couple of draft picks. We've got, 9 different draft picks that was announced on WWE's social media on X or Twitter, whatever we call it nowadays. And so let's just get started. So our first pick we had seen on Twitter was Odyssey Jones. If you're wondering yourself, who in the hell is Odyssey Jones? I would say the same. Now, again, granted, he is one of the characters I would call the fringe characters on NXT. Meaning that basically he would show up every once in a while on a show. We would see him, have a squash match, pretty much, Odyssey Jones. I believe, if I remember correctly, he actually was drafted on in 2023. And, you can tell nobody knows who the hell Odyssey Jones is. Again, talented seemingly enough for the NXT crowd, so I'll be curious to see if they do anything with him. But the first draft picks of the social draft, again, after Raw on X, is Odyssey Jones. Now, we have another NXT call-up I'm actually pretty excited about. I definitely always joke that he is Big Boss Man 2.0, but in the most loving of way is actually Dijak, or Dominic Dijakovac, as he was in NXT Black and Gold era. Pretty well-known in NXT circles. He is just recently challenged for the NXT North American Championship with Josh Briggs as well as Oba Femi in a triple threat match at Stand and Deliver, one of the better matches of the night, a surprising match. So definitely a lot of upswing with Dijak. I hope he doesn't get lost in the shuffle. Bigger guy, pretty talented, I'd say. So definitely love to see what would happen with him coming to Monday Night Raw. And he's been in NXT for quite a while. So, definitely excited for him. We have another guy going back to SmackDown. Again, he was Intercontinental Champion a couple WrestleManias ago. We actually have Apollo Crews, who we have not seen. Gosh, WrestleManiacs, it's been quite a while since we've seen this guy. I don't know if he's been out injured or just no creative, but Apollo Crews coming back to the blue brand. So definitely not a bad thing. Definitely got talent. I'll be curious to see what his character is going to be. If I remember correctly, I think the last time we saw him was maybe in NXT a couple years ago, wanting to challenge for the North American Championship, and I even think the NXT Championship, maybe, if I recall correctly. So surprising to see him again. We haven't seen him in a long time. Maybe he's been on the injury list for a while, but definitely excited to see him again. So hopefully on SmackDown, he'll be able to get some more chance to shine. Over on Raw, we got Kaden Carter and Katana Chance, former WWE Women's Tag Team Champions. I believe they're staying here on Raw. Again, NXT call-ups from a couple of years ago. Again, momentum-wise, they just kind of have pretty good matches. They're a pretty good team. I'm hoping for a gimmick change now that they've been announced for Raw to stay on there. I'm hoping we'll see something different with them. Definitely not a bad choice for Raw. They're staying. Our next pick is good old faithful Natalya is, I believe, staying on Raw. Again, correct me if I'm wrong. She may be moving from SmackDown, but I know for sure that Natalya, talented as she has been in WWE since 2010, 2009, 2008. She has stayed the course, been there almost 20 years, or at least close to 15, 20 years. So again, Natalya just recently had a match with Lola Vice. I think it was the spring break, or not spring breaking. Either way, she's been around. So Natty is, of course, good old faithful. So no surprise there. Hopefully they'll kind of have her maybe go against Liv Morgan, or I really would want to see a feud with her and Becky Lynch. I definitely think they could pull something out if they actually get good time. So definitely not a bad choice there. The Creeds, including Ivan Nile, will stay on Monday Night Raw. Again, NXT calls it from last year. Definitely quite a team. Again, as we've read rumors online that they hopefully maybe will be joining Chad Gable, turning heel for the first time. So Definitely them staying on Raw makes sense. If they're going to be replacing Otis and Akira Tozawa and Maxine Dupree, definitely would love that. And again, who knows? Maybe the whole idea of Ivy Nile being kind of a second to Maxine Dupree, maybe this has been a setup for the Creeds and them to kind of take their spot. Hopefully so. That'd be great, right? But again, it's going to be an interesting choice. Our next pick for SmackDown is actually Giovanni Vinci. Now, as we saw last week, pretty much was kicked out of Imperium. I was wondering if he was going to actually stay on Raw or not, or move, and it looks like they're pretty much just going to get him away from Ludwig Kaiser as well as Gunther. Now, he did go to NXT for a while and had like this gimmick of basically, if I remember correctly, the idea was basically he was such a beautiful individual. There'd be pictures, almost like, I don't want to say like Stratton, but the idea is that, you know, again, he was good looking. I dare say like a dashing gimmick. I mean, in a weird way. So be curious to see what he does there on SmackDown. Hopefully he gets a little bit more time. I think in NXT, I mean, again, his gimmick was kind of cheesy, kind of a cheesy Rob Conway. If you remember Rob Conway at all, just look at me. Type of gimmick, but you know, who knows? Maybe he'll be something different. Maybe he will go with I don't know. Again, the sky's the limit for the guy. Hopefully, he'll have something on SmackDown to do. Hopefully, it's not just a move because it makes no sense to move him elsewhere. So I am saying I'm a little disappointed at this next pick because I was hoping we would get a match between DIY, but New Catch Republic. Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate are actually moving over to Raw. So we're getting DIY on SmackDown, switching them out for New Catch Republic on Raw. Definitely not a bad choice at all by any stretch of the imagination. Definitely going to have some barn burner matches, or banger after banger, I guess as Sheamus calls them. Again, maybe we'll get New Catch Republic and DIY down the road. But, you know, look, a great team from SmackDown. They can move away from, you know, well, I'd say they move away from the Final Testament, but now they had a match with them. So I think this coming week, if I remember correctly. So, yeah, we're going to have them over on Monday Night Raw. So, again, not a bad choice at all. With Sheamus being there, we definitely can have some interaction, maybe some new brawling brutes. You never could say, right? And our last pick, I always kind of jokingly say to my wife, Rainbow Bright, just because of her hair, but we get Tegan Nox coming to SmackDown. So, either that, I think staying on SmackDown, I'm not sure. But again, you know, the only thing I really know about her, I know she was in the Mayon Classic, broke her leg at one time. You know, again, well enough gimmick. And again, Tegan Nox just has rainbow hair and hangs out with Natalya at times. So again, WrestleManiacs, that's it really. Begin the list is Odyssey Jones, Dijak, Carter and Chance, Natalya, Creeds, and New Catch Republic drafted or staying on Raw. For SmackDown, Apollo Crews, Giovanni Vinci, and Tegan Nox going over to SmackDown. So one guy I don't really know so much about. A couple I do. A couple has been away for a while. A couple we still know and have familiar with every week. So WrestleManiacs, that's it. You know, let me know what you think about this picks. You can follow us at WrestleMania. You can follow us now on Twitter on our new X name, Russell M Podcast, as well as at A Plus Opinions, as well as at Dotala_ for A Plus Hero Report and WrestleManiacs Podcast, as well as Dotala over at Rangers of Wrestling 2. Give her a follow, a like, subscribe to us as well. And I will see all you guys and gals tomorrow night on NXT. And again, thank you so much for joining tonight, and see you guys later. Have a good evening.